Everyone talks about PLG in 2026, but your experience is that forcing one go-to-market motion across all segments is one of the most expensive mistakes in SaaS. Can you walk us through how you actually structure PLG for SMB, Sales Assist for mid-market, ABM for enterprise within a single company? And what signals have you found that actually predict conversion versus signals that look promising but don't convert?
So like PLG for SMB, I think is essentially because SMBs are a short conversion time, right? You're a small business, the decision holder is usually one or two people, maybe tops, right? And it's much smaller budget, so there's like less scrutinizing and all this other kind of worry on the SMB side of things. And so you just kind of optimize your product towards converting that and offering what they need in the short term. ABM, that's going to take a long time. Like you got to nurture it. You got to find the right messaging. You got to then get that messaging out there, filter it through, and it has to be absorbed by multiple touches on various ads and various platforms, right? That's kind of how that all works. And you're targeting very specific people with it, but it's going to take a while for you to actually get those folks hooked unless you have something that's absolutely like pure gold, right? And so you have time to figure out this PLG thing, which what the SMBs need is also what enterprise is going to need to a degree, right? But you have time to kind of gather that from your SMBs and then begin building this sort of additional layers of enterprise stuff on top of it. Your sales assist for mid-market. That's similar to that, right? Where like you're having, I would almost put it in the same bucket as the ABM stuff, but like ABM to a degree is going to eventually lead to helping your sales team. You just kind of remove some of the larger steps because of that corporate timeline. Like it's not going to take a year for a mid-market company to like make that decision. It might take months, but it's not going to take as long as it will, where you're going to have to go through all this stuff, legal, it's going to take months. Very large corporations move pretty slowly because they can, but it does mean that you have to be in that funnel to begin with and then making your way through it as quickly as you can, but it's still going to take like a long time. So your sales team will eventually get somebody, but it might be one of these things where they're going to have to kind of like do some stuff on their side too to kind of nurture that along. Whereas the mid-market stuff, much easier to close. They've got stuff to work on in the meantime. And to a degree, like those are kind of the two paths, I think. PLG and then sales is essentially B2B.
MAVAN's audit work has found that many B2B SaaS companies use fear-based or uncertainty-focused messaging when they should be leading with aspirational and talent accessibility.
You need a little bit of both, but I think in general, what resonates more with people is not being told that they're behind or that they're bad, right? But I do think the aspirational aspect, telling people like, you're doing great, but you could be doing like 5x, great, more great, right? Like that's why LLMs are all just like, great job, good ideas. If Claude told you had really bad ideas, you wouldn't use it. So there should be some element of that too, right? Taking from that you're being told constantly that you need to do better. And by the way, you can do better by giving us a bunch of money. It's like a hard sell. Hey, you're doing great. We can actually do like a lot better and you can get you to your revenue goals. It's a much easier sell.
MAVAN has also found that like feature heavy messaging doesn't necessarily ladder up to outcomes.
I think a lot of companies, especially when you're in that ecosystem, like it's really hard to determine like what's the best thing we're doing. We do like 20 different things. That's great, amazing. What's the best one you do? And they're like, well, it's these 5. It's like, well, I asked what was the best one. There's kind of filters into the ads to a degree where they don't necessarily know what their target audience would deem to be like the best thing. And so therefore they want to list everything in the ads. So they'll list those 5 things, or worse, they'll list the 20 things they do, in which case you've basically caused options paralysis or overwhelming your target audience with very limited ad space. Most platforms these days, you've got 3 seconds to hook somebody. If you put those 20 products in those 3 seconds, they don't know anything about any of them. They just saw a bunch of blurs. The other side of that is that they've put everything in there because they don't know who the target audience is. So they're like, we'll figure it out. Tell them all about us. Like, tell us everything about us. And then we'll figure out who figured it out. It means you're just spending a ton of money out there just to get a few people to click on it and tell you something, when there's probably a much more scientific, like systematic approach you could have taken to that, right? Do some basic thinking about this product. What are the 4 ICPs that you might want to have it and prioritize them? What are the specific messages you think that would resonate or we have seen resonate with people in that industry or other products, right? How are people going about that industry and those specific audiences and marketing to them? And then try it, get out there and focus on 1 specific or 2 specific messages and specific product features around it. 3 tops, like don't get too crazy with it. That should resonate with the audiences you're targeting.